Hey guys, this is Eve. Thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. This channel is dedicated to exploring various topics of the metaphysics and looking at them from a very occult, standpoint, very esoteric, symbolic standpoint. In my last video, I focused on the the esoteric symbology of coronavirus and how, really the elite created this virus, if you will, and that they use our own minds to manifest it for them by creating an environment of hysteria and fear and that type of thing. The elite have plateaued out of experiencing the material. So, they don't have anywhere to go. So because they are pretty much bored and they don't have anything to do because they're masters and people work for them and or what have you, they create these things such as corona. And I talked about how corona, the word corona itself, corresponds to very symbolic esoteric things like the crown chakra. So you're not supposed to go from your root chakra and ascend to your crown chakra. That is what you will call imbalance. And so when you ascend to your crown chakra, you leave your body and you await reincarnation. So like, for example, when you get into Egyptian mythology, like with the god Thoth, he talks about how you balance your south and your north pole. And if you balance your south and your north pole, then you won't taste death. But they're trying to precipitate death. That's what they're doing by imbalancing and sending you to the North Pole. That's why Santa lives in the North Pole. The North Pole represents really your crown chakra when it comes to Christianity. That's why Christians, they don't really realize what they're celebrating and the types of traditions and that they observe and whatever they observe with their culture. But really, that it's almost fell. It's worshiping Satan. Because Santa, if you rearrange the word Santa, it spells Satan. Okay, so you're going from your root to your crown. So you're going from life to death. Okay, that's essentially what you're doing. And so corona corresponds to the crown. If you look up the word corona, you will find that in one of the definitions. And I also talked about how, corona corresponds to an eclipse between the sun and the moon. So this is equated to crucifixion of Jesus, crucifying Jesus, okay, the Son of God. And so, esoterically, Jesus is your soul or your solar plexus. Solar means sun. This is the Son of God. And so your solar plexus is responsible for your will, what you want to do, your desire. That's why when you see pictures of Jesus, you see his heart in chains, okay? And so, seeing that Jesus's heart is in chains and our will with coronavirus is being crucified because we have so many more rules and regulations and things like that we have to follow, this is unnatural. And so they're facilitating an environment to crucify the solar plexus, your will, to take away your will and to cover it up with these laws and things like that, that perverts the energy system of the solar plexus. All right. And so since, like, for example, with women, we carry our babies basically in the solar plexus. This is where our sexual organs are. Okay. And so it's basically when you're perverting the nature of the solar plexus, it can very well turn from sexual perversion to violence. Okay. It can turn to violence. And so this is the type of energy that they're trying to unleash upon the world. That's why the Pope's auditorium hall looks like a reptile eating the people. Okay, they're trying to unleash the reptilian, aspect of the personality. I'm trying to bring that out, to bring that to the forefront, through the restrictions of these laws and things like that. And so they're doing this for the purpose of judgment. And so coronavirus is eclipsing the subconscious and the conscious mind. All right. Basically, which is an unnatural thing because, when it comes to an eclipse, day becomes night and night becomes day. Okay. So God becomes the devil and the devil becomes God. Okay. And that type of thing. So, it's something that you know, when you look at it superficially at the 3D physical level, it's like, yes, we got a virus, you know, we have to wear masks and stay 6 feet apart and stuff like that. But from the esoteric symbolic level, and you are not understanding but overstanding what's going on, this is actually trying to bring you to judgment. Okay? All right, and crucifixion, crucify you. Now, the thing is that this video is going to be about Lilith and astrology ultimately. Now, Lilith corresponds a lot to what's going on today, because Lilith is, well, when you're ascending to your crown chakra, and exiting your body, right? You will actually start to become in tune with what I call outer planets and outer placements in your natal chart. And so Lilith is one of them. Oftentimes astrologers don't really, you know, focus that much on Lilith. And they don't, because, you know, most human beings, or what have you, superficially speaking, do not get past a certain point, past their root, past their solar plexus, or what have you. And so it's not until you get to be like a Pisces or something like that that you are really in the mind, okay? You're in Neptune, you're in the etheric realm, whatever you want to call it, okay? And so you will get access to the deep subconscious aspect of the personality, and that's Lilith. Now, Lilith in, you know, in Judeo mythology is the first wife of Adam. So in Christianity, as Christians, we were taught that Eve is Adam's wife. But really, before Christianity, in Judaism, it was Lilith. And so Lilith is represented in mythology as a demon. Okay? And it's called Black Moon Lilith in astrology, because everyone starts off black. All of your ancestors, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, or whomever, your ancestor was black. Okay? And so this represents your first incarnation. This is Lilith. This is the beginning of time. Now, it is the deep subconscious mind, okay? It is the deep subconscious mind. It's your first avatar, the first you. Like when they talk about how in the Bible, the angels that kept not their first estate, Lilith would be that, the angel that kept not its first estate. An estate meaning that the body is the estate. This is the land, okay? The body is the land. And so these beings actually left the body. And so this is extraterrestrial. When you leave the body, you are beyond, because extra means beyond, and ter is land, or a state, body, whatever you want to call it, earth. And so these beings are beyond. Lilith represents a pocket of consciousness that is beyond the body, okay? Now, with that being said, Lilith being in the subconscious mind, you can think of Lilith as like for example, you know, think of like water or what have you. Like there's so many things that are lurking at the bottom of the ocean that we don't know about. There are many strange creatures and things like that. You know, you have to have special equipment, right? To go at the bottom of the ocean. There's too much pressure. Like I remember I went to Punta Cana and I went scuba diving, and I had a nosebleed. I had a nosebleed when I came up. So there's a lot of pressure that goes into being at the very bottom of the ocean, okay? And so basically, you know, being at the bottom of the ocean represents hell. This is what Lilith is. Lilith represents hell itself, because it's a perverted aspect of the personality. So think of your first incarnation as a body of water, which is Lilith, right? And then you incarnate again, and then you have another body of water on top of her. And then you have another body of water on top of her. And then you keep on having incarnations until you, the ego, you're up here. But Lilith is down here, okay? So the thing is that the more incarnations you have, the further away you get away from this first pocket of consciousness that you don't have connection to until you die. Until you die, and then you become one with Lilith, okay? And so this part of the personality is purposely kept away from us, because the people who actually run this hellhole for the Jews, basically, because Jews are not what you think they are, or who you think they are. The Bible even tells you that. Those who say they are Jews, but who are not. So I'm talking about the deep esoteric. Okay, so this is a hellhole for Jews. This is a concentration camp. That's what this is. Okay, so, you know, when you keep incarnating so many times and you get away from that aspect of the personality, you have no connection to it and it festers. And so it's like for example, you know, like in the refrigerator, like say you leave something, like I do this all the time, like, you know, I'll forget there's something in my fridge until I clean it out. And I'm like, I didn't know that was there, you know, and then it'll have like all these like, you know, spurs and stuff like that and mold and stuff. And so it's behind something, like it's behind like something that you know, that's not perishable. Like say it's behind I don't know, a bottle of, I don't know, whatever, you know, something that's not perishable, like salad dressing or something like that. And you're like, what's that smell? And then when you look at it, you're like, oh, you know, that was that tomato I bought weeks ago, but the tomato is all filthy and disgusting, and you just want to throw away, so you reject it. And so that is what Lilith is. Lilith is the part that's been rejected, and it's the part of the personality that has been rejected and that wants to be expressed, wants to be, you know, wants to feel accepted, basically. You know what I mean? But it's not accepted. It's not accepted within this realm, okay? And so, you know, because of that, your Lilith placement will start to wreak havoc in your life, especially when you start to ascend and you start to get in touch with these energies of Lilith. So, you know, like I said, most astrologers, they focus on your, you know, basic things like your sun sign, your moon sign, your ascendant sign. But when you're ascending, you need to focus on those outer planets like Uranus, like Neptune, like Lilith, Chiron. Those things will become very important because you will start to feel the energies of those things, those placements in your natal chart, okay? Now, with Lilith, Lilith is, I would associate Lilith in Judeo mythology with Kali, right, in Hinduism. And Kali is, you know, she's a bloodthirsty goddess. You know, oftentimes you see her with her tongue, you know, stuck out or whatever the case is. And, you know, she's killed a whole bunch of people. She has a whole bunch of skulls and things like that around her. You know, they're trying to bring in that Kali energy. That's why when you see a lot of like, you know, stars, they have their tongue hung out. That's Kali that they're actually giving homage to, which is the devil, which is the deep subconscious aspect of the personality, the perverted aspect of the personality. So, you know, one thing about, you know, people who are conscious, we shoot straight from the hip. You know, I'm like, if you're going to promote Kali and promote the devil, why don't you just go ahead and do it and just say what you're doing instead of actually throwing stones and hiding your hands and trying to do it, you know, in the deep shadows. Like, to me, that's disgusting. And the elite that do this, they disgust me. You know, they don't deserve any respect and they don't deserve to judge anyone. Okay, but they actually pervert the energy of mankind to create these disgusting subconscious aspects of the personality. And so I'm going to get to the bottom of that in this video. Okay. Oh, I almost fell again. Okay, so with that being said, you know, when to give you some more understanding about what Lilith is, what Lilith represents in the personality, think about the Gospel of Judas, okay? The Gospel of Judas. Now, when you actually look at the Gnostic Gospel of Judas, Jesus is talking to his disciples, okay? And Jesus is, you know, the disciples are doing pious things. You know, they're giving thanks. I think they're having dinner or something like that. And so Jesus is laughing at them. And so, you know, the disciples get, you know, disturbed by this. They're like, Master, why are you laughing at us? We are doing what is proper. And so Jesus tells them that they're not doing that because of their own will. They're doing that because of their God. And so the God that he's talking about is the devil, which is the higher self. So, you know, the New Age talks about the higher self being so wonderful. The higher self is the devil. The higher self actually gets things from the ego. It's the ego is a slave to the higher self. Okay, it's a slave to the higher self. Without the ego, the higher self is nothing. It has to actually get things through the desires of the ego. That is its human resource. Okay, so this is what it means to actually gather treasures in heaven. Okay, there cannot be any treasures in heaven without you having the desire as the ego on earth. That's why as egos, we can't manifest the things that we desire. The higher self doesn't give us enough money, or the higher self, which is God, doesn't give us enough time to manifest the money, or it doesn't give us certain things because it wants it for itself. Okay? And so it uses you to get what it wants. All right? So this is the higher self that the so-called New Age talks up so much, because they're really just bringing in the devil. Okay? And so that's why the Pope's auditorium hall looks like a reptile eating the people. Okay? That's the devil. This is the higher self that they're bringing in. Now, in the Gospel of Judas, or what have you, Jesus tells them that they're doing this because of their God, the higher self, the devil. And so he shows them a dream. And in the dream, there are 12 priests. And the 12 priests are participating in all types of what you would call lawlessness. Okay? They're participating in all types of debauchery, from, killing their wives to, killing their children. I'm not judging, but sleeping with men. Just doing all types of things that are considered to be deviant behavior. And so the disciples tell Jesus about this. They're like, hey, Master, some of them are doing all this crap, and it's like, what's going on here? And so Jesus tells them, you are those men. You are those men sacrificing your families and that type of thing. And so they become disturbed. And so this is a very great example of what it means, a representation of the ego in Lilith, which is your first incarnation, the deep subconscious aspect of the personality. Because you don't know this aspect of yourself. You won't really realize this aspect of yourself until you die. And so I don't even think that in doing this video, I can talk about it in a very intelligent way, because I'm talking about outer worldly knowledge. In a way, because I'm an ego, I feel like I'm out of my domain. But all I can do is just point to what this really is about. Okay? So bear with me here. Some of the things I say is going to be, kind of out of this world, kind of like crazy Harry Potter-ish type of bullshit. But it's very real, okay? It's very real as it pertains to, what happens to you at the time of death, at crucifixion, where your subconscious or your unconscious and your conscious mind become one. You get crucified. Now, if you don't have any inkling of who you are from the subconscious standpoint, you will feel conflicted and torn apart by these energies. Now, these energies are both fallacies. The subconscious and the conscious mind are what I consider to be fake fallacies. Okay, they're not real, because within the environment that we're in, it creates the subconscious mind. It creates the subconscious mind. Okay, so the thing is that when it comes to Lilith, or whatever the case is, you're getting closer to corona or crown chakra, or to death of your ego. It's good to get in touch with this energy and to feel this energy. And as you feel this energy, don't feel like it's your fault, because the subconscious or the devil will always try to blame the ego. Will always try to blame the ego for what it is and what it has become. And the ego has nothing to do with it. Okay, the ego is the one that's the slave, that without the ego, the higher self couldn't get anything, couldn't get any riches in heaven. Okay, so I want to talk about your Lilith placement. So when you do your natal chart, like I say, your Vedic natal chart, your sidereal natal chart, you'll see what sign your Lilith is in. And so my Lilith is in Libra. Okay, my Lilith is in Libra. And so Libra is a sign of what you would call beauty. Okay, it's a sign of beauty. It's a sign of justice. It's a sign of refinement. In you know, it's ruled by Venus. It's a sign of balance, and it's about relationships and stuff like that. Okay, and so the thing is that this is a horrible placement for me. I hate to judge it as that, but it's horrible because my moon and my Venus are in Libra. So your moon placement and your Venus placement are placements in your natal chart that make you feel happy and joyful and make you feel safe and comforted. Okay, so beauty and balance and relationships and justice and all of these different things are important to me as an ego to make me feel good. But with Lilith being here, because Lilith is all about a perversion of the attributes of that sign that it's in. So it's a perversion of beauty. It is a perversion of justice. So it's perverted justice. It is a perversion of relationships. You know, it's a perversion of balance to create an imbalance. It is, it turns every aspect of Libra upside down. Okay, so here as an ego, these things are needed for me to feel good, but Lilith being here wreaks havoc on those things. Okay, so there's definitely a split. Okay, there's a split within the personality. And so, you know, I'm going to talk about my split personality basically in my next video. So, you know, it's going to be very difficult to kind of rip the skin off of myself and really kind of put that out there. But I think that it's important, you know, it's as you're reaching what you would call ego death or corona or crown chakra, where you're exiting your body, it's important to be able to get in tune with the subconscious mind, because the subconscious will be brought into your awareness. And if you can't, you know, become reconciled to it, it will crucify you. Okay, it will crucify you, and it'll make you feel like judged, but you should not be judged for anything. Judgment is the lowest taxonomy of knowledge, and so judgment is reserved for hell. Okay, and so you don't want your consciousness to be in a state of hell when you leave. Okay, when you leave, you want to make sure that you have a true understanding of who you are, and who you are is not the subconscious or the consciousness or the mind. You're above both of them, and you should have dominion of both. Okay, so I'm going to end the video. This is part 1, and I'm going to talk about my Lilith placement in Libra in part 2. Okay.